discussion with you.
Yes, but
no, it's not. You
yes.
give us a hint to see where to go. It's really fun.
So the main and very logical idea that is very kind of is it fun?
Of course.
Yeah, so the first and the very logical thing was that, as you already mentioned, although you were tourists to the city, that this area here, which was shown by Rodion on this map too, is the Moscovici area, which is kind of very vivid at the moment, and the future possibility of the Zaradia Park being built. These are two main places of the city which have very different characteristics, because this is a urban grain which is kind of dense and different kind of things are happening there. Well, this will be a kind of a very open park. We don't know how it will it become the same active as the park Gorko now, or a bit more quiet as this area now. We don't know yet, but these are different qualities. This is very open space. This one is very like dense urban grain. So what we notice that it really goes through our site somehow, which you can see on this map, I think. So we decided that this area is a really transitional zone, let's say, which we should really mention and have in mind and take into consideration for our designs. So what I was thinking that is very reasonable to think of making this kind of a strong connection line, which is not a physical straight line, let's say, but that you can access from this area of the city to the park, for example, because there are people living here. There are kind of quite a lot of people living here at the moment, which they don't really have a park nearby, except this one which might be built. So this area can be like a filtration zone for this to happen, and vice versa. But if we assume that Zaradia Park is more of a touristic attraction, let's say, we would say that we want to filter the amount of tourists coming into the residential zone, for example. So the idea was basically the same, which we discussed all together, that we have a kind of, for example, if we put our attention to one of the buildings that is in the first row on the embankment, and we can make this kind of bridge coming straight from Zaradia Park through the building. So there is another quality of a public space, which is not open patio, because already we mentioned before today that we have different conditions during the winter when we are super cold and we're not prone to use open public spaces a lot. When it's minus 30, you don't want to go there actually. So we could have like
it's minus 15 in Moscow, like
yes.
It's pretty humid. When it's minus 15 and very humid like in Moscow, it's better to survive at minus 30 at all circle than there. Because there the air is much drier, absolutely much drier. So it's just
I mean, you have
it's just supporting my point, so it's okay.
in St. Petersburg it's total shit. I totally agree with you.
Yeah, so creating those kind of closed public lobby, it doesn't, I don't think we should assign any function to it now, because until the moment it will be built, there will be a lot of actors changed, a lot of forces, a lot of investors, developers rethinking that side, and by the moment it's built, there might be another thought of making it not a restaurant but an art gallery or whatever. So I think the space itself should be flexible enough to accommodate their different kinds of functions that can be open to public. Yeah?
An open huge area which can be a multifunctional. Concerts maybe can be done.
So going from this kind of very open, large park, which has one quality, through the pedestrian bridge, then coming to this public space, which has a different quality, then we come to this patio, which is kind of more intimate zone, which I show here, and then going through this passage, because we have seen a very narrow thing, which can also be, I think, redeveloped in a nice way, not widening it, but making a passage that you pass through. It's a different quality of the space as well. And I would suggest not spread our attention to all the all the open spaces that we have here, because it's not necessarily that we have to redevelop all the open spaces to make this one a good area, but I think that it's important to concentrate on one kind of spine and create some kind of nodality of things happening around. Maybe there are some more active courts, then they get another quality of being a quiet courtyard, closed patio, semi-private patio, so they have different qualities. But they follow this kind of line.
Beautiful. Interesting. Well, I think we have everything now.